Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 291. Let's see who shows up. Okay, so lots of choices, lots of choices. There are a lot of Elise decks that I really like to pursue. I'm a big fan of these really just Shadow Isles, full Shadow Isles fearsomes kind of decks, but we got some other things that we could pursue down here. I think I'm just going to go after this Jarvan. This is basically as good as a Jarvan start as we can have. Both the Penitent Squire and Honored Lord are super good in the sense of either playing towards elites or playing towards this Challenger slash vulnerable theme. And so I think I'm going to be pretty on board with taking this. These are actually all pretty powerful champions. I'm not a huge fan of Nasus. He's kind of like an okay-ish champion. He just doesn't have a really powerful late game. And it feels like this theme is kind of like a few cards short, right? It seems like Nasus is trying to put together this fearsomes kind of theme, to where he has right of dominance to give everything -2 attack. He has the thing to give them all -1, and then you can pair him up with Shadow Isles with some of these say like Elise cards that give opponents minus attack. Seems like he's supposed to be a big fearsomes deck, but it's like a card or two short. This would be a pretty nice way to get into that. I mean, I think we touched on this before? I think we have, and it just doesn't quite come together. But this is a pretty good start, knowing that he pairs with Shadow Isles, and then ideally you come over here and find something like Elise, and then Elise has other fearsomes like the Onlooker. But um, I think I'm just going to go after the Jarvan here. So let's take a moment and get him pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar, it's ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition-related content. I do have to say, in the guide section, that's where I keep all of my YouTube videos. And here, I did finally go and delete number 288. It was stuck on processing for like 2 days, and I assumed that it was just lost to the YouTube ether. But I mean, as you can imagine, it was a 6-win trial. We were playing Kindred, and we lost in the final battle to another Kindred deck, and it was just a sea assault the whole way through. But nonetheless, today we're over on the Expedition Helper. We're just going to scroll down to the little drop down box and pick up the Jarvan card pool. And so, yeah, I mean, this does either, one of two things, or it tends to actually just kind of do them together, to where this is either, an Elite's deck. He has Elite on him. If you're familiar with the Demacian Steel Garen, a lot of the same things apply here. But, the big thing that is in the addition here from the Elite side of thing is both the Penitent Squire is just a cheap, 1/1 unit. It's not an Elite, but this deck has problems with having early game plays, and has problems with having interactive abilities, which the Squire provides both. And then the Honored Lord having another 2-cost elite unit to go with the little infantry, something that can challenge something down and survive. He's pretty important here. And so, the big thing that we're really looking here for in the sense of elites is this does give us another set of packs that have battlesmiths in it. It gives us another set of packs that have reinforcements in it. And so, with elites, we typically look to be like 100% Demacia. We look to pick up Vanguard Bannerman out of the Garen pools, and then just have a big pile of stats, and we win games through stats. And so, that deck tends to have problems in the mid to late game with just having like too much expensive things, and so this Jarvan pool does really help out in the sense of adding these two units we talked about, the Honored Lord and the Penitent Squire, just as a means to have some early game plays. So that's kind of idea number one. Idea number two here is getting these challenges going. The big thing that we want to say with challenges is whether or not you're playing something like a Larnt Duelist to give something Challenger, or if we're playing the vulnerable cards out of Shurima, you can't just be playing units, a second card, and then just trading, right? You can't say have a who are you, Penitent Squire on the board, and then we exhaust our opponent's unit, or we Ruthless Predator our opponent's unit and make a trade and just 2-for-1 ourselves. And so, as it says with Jarvan, he wants you to attack and have your unit survive. That's what you have to be doing. And so if we're playing, a Ruthless Predator and then attacking with Honored Lord, then fine, if the Lord's going to survive that combat. Or, if we're attacking with random 3/3 into our opponent's 2/3, then perfect, that's fine. But the reason we have to specifically call this out are that the units in Shurima all tend to be pretty light on the back end. Like Rockhopper only has 1 health, Ruthless Predator, Bloody Marauder, or whatever. Bloody Marauder, right? He's the 3/1 for 1. He just trades with everything. And so we do need to kind of go out of our way to find these cards that can come in and just win a combat, so that we aren't 2-for-1ing ourselves all over the place. So those are kind of the two big things. Either look to really build towards elites, or if you want to really build towards the challenger thing, whatever, do either one. But but the Honored Lord and the Penitent Squire are going to be the real backbone to any of these style of decks, and so that's why it's ultimately pretty exciting to be starting out with both of them here. Then, okay, so as far as this goes, I think we're just kind of stuck taking the Renekton, but it gives us some options at least, and so we should at least stop and kind of consider some of these. The Taric could be okay. I'm trying to think. There's just not a whole lot of combat tricks that play well with Taric here. Like, his big ones are Pale Cascade and Zenith Blade, which plays reasonably well with elites, but I can't think, are we going to be playing riposts onto Taric? Typically not. Are we going to be otherwise? There's just not a whole lot of cards I really want to be working with there. So I think we can let that go. Lysandra, could be interesting as far as Ice Shard is concerned. We did have for a while kind of the Crimson Guard Garen, I think that was called, with Garen and Vladimir, kind of set up to give all of your units tough and then have some of these AoEs, or give your units barrier and have some of these AoEs. We could potentially pull that off with Lysandra, but I think the partner bucket over here with Challenger Renekton is just going to be too good. So we can pull him up as well. I typically don't build towards the Renekton side of this, and I do want to really just push ourselves toward elites. But to specifically call out Renekton, the big things he has going for him, are the Exhaust, Rockhopper, and Ruthless Predator. These are the three common cards that can give something vulnerable, and that's really all we're going to be looking for outside of Shurima. Well, I should say it depends, right? If we're looking to build towards elites, we want to be very Demacia-centric so that we can take advantage of Vanguard Bannerman. In that sense, we're only looking for these three cards, right? Exhaust, Rockhopper, Ruthless Predator. To a lesser degree, we can also add Siphoning Strike into the mix, but all of these other cards, just not really what we're looking to do. We don't want Bloodthirsty Marauder, right? We're not going to be that aggressive. We're looking to win the game through value attacks. Our units are 4/4s, our opponents are 3/3s. They block. We just win the combat outright. Can't do that with Bloodthirsty Marauder. You have trouble doing that with Callous Bone Crushers, and so it's very easy in Shurima to have a problem with your top end, just having too much of it, and so we do also want to avoid things like Weight of Judgment and Bakai Sandspinner, and so once we've gotten to that point, we're really just looking for these three cards and then Siphoning Strikes. So we'll see how it plays to it. If we're going very heavily towards Demacia, if we see a Vanguard Bannerman early, then we'll hard pass on a lot of the Shurima stuff. But if we look to be more of a 50-50 deck, then it's not that bad, because the real point of contention we run into here is we typically don't like to draft 3 Jarvans because he's so expensive. We typically want to be drafting maybe 2 Jarvans at the most, and then 2 Renektons or a Renekton and a Sivir, something on the cheaper side of thing. Renekton and Sivir play out pretty similarly, right? They get a challenge in and just never lose it. And so if we do look to draft a bunch of Renektons and Sivirs, it makes it tough to play the Bannerman. So, a lot of, competing themes that we have to navigate in the draft here, but let's see how it plays out. I'm confident that we can do it. And so let's see. This is a pretty good one. We're going to really take every Honored Lord that we can see. That's reasonable, right? If it was Honored Lord and Mobilize, then I'd probably pass on it. But Honored Lord with a double bird is pretty reasonable here. I do like to call out, I can't remember how much I touched on it. I see Weight of Judgment and can't remember how many times I've said it. But if we're looking to draft 3 of Renekton and Sivir, if we're picking up Silverwing Vanguards, if we're going to find things like the 4/4 for 4 that flips when it challenges something, and then Shurima has 100 4-cost cards, we really have to watch our 4-drop spot. We don't have much we can do about it here, but Silverwing Vanguard does drop a bit in quality, just in the sense that it's so easy for us to get so many 4s. Okay, with this one, we're not going to want either of these Shurima cards. Neither of these are on theme. Bannerman or not, these cards are not going to play well in our deck. So we're getting an On Guard, and if we're getting an On Guard either way, I do believe I want the Remembrance. It's just a little bit more powerful than Swiftwing Lancer. It lets us do things like we can just play this on turn 3 if we have a really weird draw, or if we get in a big trade of combats and can play this for 3 mana, then that's a pretty good deal as well. And so all of the units coming out of Remembrance are pretty powerful anyways. Okay. This is a closer one than I want to give it credit for. These are pretty important challenger packs in the sense that you know, it's got exhaust on its own, right? If this is like exhaust paired with the random 6/3 reputation unit, it's very hard to take it. But now that we have the exhaust paired with the with the you know, just Demacia unit, I think this is a pretty reasonable take. It is kind of awkward in the sense that, you know, Great Horn Companion's not really a unit we're looking for. I don't really want a whole lot of top end. I really just want our top end to be things like reinforcements, and then kind of like the expensive epics, right? So if we find Cytherea or Genvivi, even something like Tiana, that's the kind of like expensive stuff we're looking for. And so I think we can potentially just let this go, because the thing is, you know, I really want every pack to have like Demacia, Steel, and Challenger in it. You know, we're not quite guaranteed to have that happen, but these are, you know, the two important packs so that we can really stack up on Honored Lords. And I really, you know, want Demacia and Steel to show up so that we have additional shots at Bannerman and those elite boosting cards. And so I think this one's pretty close. If this was a Penitent Squire, this would be like no contest. I'm taking these Demacia cards, but I think, you know, ultimately we want some of these, you know, +1/+1 cards to be showing up here. And so I think we have to just kind of let the exhaust go and hope that we can get some challengers out of these Penitent Squires. So with this one, you know, pretty close. I think we just want the Green Fang Warden and the Sharp Sights. Sharp Sights the card I'm ultimately interested in here. The Warden is okay, and he's elite, so he does play to some of our themes. And again, I'm trying to just stay away from these Swiftwing Lancers. Succession is, you know, a better unit than the Green Fang Warden, in my opinion, but the Sharp Sight's what's really pushing it over the edge here. Okay, beautiful. There's some stuff happening. We got a reinforcements with a Penitent Squire. Beautiful. And see, again, they're kind of showing up here. I'll have to watch on the Wild Pack and see what shows up, but this is what we're definitely wanting to see out of our Synergy packs, is one Challenger and one Demacian Steel. So yeah, let's see, Challenger still showing up a little bit. You know, I was kind of thinking of the removal spell thing. I always do want to be picking up at least one Concerted Strike. But, you know, as this is coming together and I'm like thinking about this more, you know, we haven't seen a Bannerman, but it's a real possibility that we'll find one or two. What if we do end up actually just playing 3 Jarvans? And then now that we see King Jarvan. So that's kind of an idea. I kind of want this Concerted Strike, but Weight of Judgment can do similar things. Don't get me wrong, like Concerted Strike is like an 8 and Weight of Judgment is like a 4, like on a 10-point scale. But this Jarvan, I think we're good to go and just take him. Beautiful. A second reinforcements with Penitent Squire. And so now it's like, see, our top end is pretty set. This is ultimately like, wow, worry about drafting 3 Jarvans. So we'd have like 3 Jarvans, 1 King, 2 reinforcements, and then nothing else expensive. I mean, I guess I can get behind this. The reinforcements is so powerful here. Okay, all right. Well, we can easily pass on these Shurima packs, and at least we've got 2 elites. Pretty easy take. Okay, and then you do run into a bit of expensive stuff like Captain Erika, which we're just going to have to be fine with. Vanguard Sergeant is ultimately super powerful unit. Generating these 4 Demacias is incredibly powerful. Love to have 2 or 3 of these if we could come across it. All right, let's keep the combats going. Here's, again, the same rules apply here with this exhaust being paired up with Cataclysm. Quite good, quite good. So happy enough to take these. And beautiful, beautiful. Good looking stuff here. Battlesmith with Penitent Squire. Absolutely what we're looking for. Okay, which one are you, Towering Stonehorn? I don't take damage from any spells or skills. You're pretty weak. Bright Steel Protectors are, you know, very good here, but this just doesn't do anything, right? If I had Overwhelm or something, I'd be fairly interested in it, but I think we just need to take the Captain Erika. You know, oh, hang on, we already have one. Never mind. This Siphoning Strike should be fine. I'm trying to think of this point. You know, I can see ourselves, say, drafting 2 Jarvans, 1 Garen, and 1 Renekton, which, you know, can really push up the value of Siphoning Strike and gives us a champion 1 cheaper. It should be pretty reasonable for us to think we can find a Garen, and then hopefully just trade away for this Rock Bear. I think the Siphoning Strike is probably important enough to take, because our removal spells here are pretty trash. Okay, Vanguard Redeemer works for me. We want to trade away the Rock Bear as well, but you know, this Redeemer is a little bit more important than the Vanguard Radiant Guardian being an elite and giving us a little bit of card advantage. Alright, so this came together pretty reasonably. If you're not familiar with what we do here, this is a pay-to-win game, so we have to pay up a little bit of money so that we can have a successful trial here. We do need to go and level up or make premium one of our cards, and I think we clearly just have to go and level up an elite. And so let me take a quick peek here. Elite. Can't remember. We got to show them unowned. Let's just protect my pocketbook for a minute and look for the commons. So who's even left? We got Cythria, Vanguard Lookout, Vanguard Redeemer, and then the expensive crew. This is pretty close. I think, I talk a lot of trash about Vanguard Redeemer. It feels like the kind of card that we should absolutely be in love with, but, I just have a lot of trouble getting behind this. It tends to play out pretty awkwardly in my experience. There's just so many cards throughout the history of limited formats to where you're just like, yep, it's a 3/3 that draws a card. That's a pretty good deal. It just like never feels like that to me, and I don't know why. Just never quite had the level of success that I wanted to with that one. But nonetheless, ready for battle here. Pretty reasonable start. We could arguably like trade away something to look for a. Like an enabler, whether or not that be like an honored, honored lord or a battlesmith or something, but I don't think we can ever mulligan any of this stuff. Just so good just starting out with all of these early game plays.
They appeared out of nowhere. Help! Somebody help!
Okay, so let's see if they do anything. Okay, so we can just slam all of our units into the investigator.
I'm actually here. Moving.
Beg your pardon?
Good looking start. The double bird. Double bird tends to be pretty good against these style of decks. Well, it's not able to come down anymore. We're going to have to crash the sergeant into misfortune, but we're not. We're not.
Years take, experience gives.
And we still have an exhaust play potentially here. This should just be a blowout. Yup.
Show them our metal. They will sing if you hurt him. You won't leave a scratch.
All right, enjoy, friend. Yep. All right. That was pretty savage, right? Telling you. Having a good mana curve is a pretty powerful thing. And so let's see. Again, I'm okay with taking Garens, and I think this is one we want to take. I still have this belief in my head that at some point in the day we might find a Vanguard Bannerman, and I don't want to be taking this pack that has the 2 Shurima cards in it. So we're getting a Garen that's going to give us the 3 champions that also, plays a little bit towards our siphoning strikes. He has a Battlesmith with it, just all around pretty awesome. This is a pretty good looking pack here. So I think we probably do have to... we don't have to take the Jarvan as our next champion, but with the king and not liking to stack Garens, it's probably what we're going to do. I don't know. The king is just so good in both directions, though, right? If you already have Jarvan drawn, and then he's getting that ability, very, very good. And then on the flip side, if you haven't drawn your 1 copy of Jarvan yet, it's pretty powerful the other way. So this one, potentially kind of tough. I guess what we do here depends on if he opens with Zoe, right? He's playing some kind of weird Dragons deck with Zoe. She's probably not super important, but
I'll write my own story.
trying to think if we're like willing to just start throwing exhausts. This is awkward,
Reach the king.
right? We don't want to just be throwing away Honored Lord, but we need the point of mana to get him into combat.
Just a little farther. I'm ready.
Okay.
My message.
But still, again, we should have a pretty powerful combat on the following turn. Green Fang Warden kind of changes things. ultimately going to have a pretty slow draw, so we can get the Honored Lord down with the idea that we can just exhaust something if we need to, and then now we can like Tattered Banner, Greenfang Warden if we want. Sounds ultimately pretty weak though. He's just not going to play units into it. Ugh. For the most awkward of situations, drawing the Battlesmith now. I think this is okay. Let's see what he throws down. Maybe we'll get an exhaust play here. We're only really losing out on 1 mana. Okay, if he just passes as well. I mean, it kind of sucks against dragons, but we'll get something going here. None of this is worth exhausting.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
That's not cool, man. We're just here to have fun. Dude's trying to suck it away from us. It's alright, we can still make something out of this.
For king and country.
Okay. Idea here is that we have this reinforcements for next turn, and we can also exhaust something. So I think we'll be in a pretty safe spot. Of course, can't exhaust his Fused Firebrand, but you're getting a ton of stats down.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Do we care about this stuff? Because I mean, like realistically, what we have showing up now is we can just play King Jarvan next turn and actual Jarvan the following turn, and then try to just kill this thing with Jarvan. Seems fine. I don't like trying to go like toe to toe against dragons / invokes, but we can do it if we need to. How does he Quinn Bird here? Where does that even come from? Is he even just has it? Okay. And it's also a reasonably interesting siphoning strike if we're about to have all of our champions, and so it's a ton of stats that this thing will be spreading out. So there is also a world where we should perhaps try to find a way to like exhaust this Firebrand down. Painful if he can get out of this, but not 100% convinced he has a removals or a combat trick here. But okay. What? Is this ever a hook that's any good? What?
Try me, I dare you.
Okay. But what are we realistically doing next turn? Right? We could technically, I mean, just trading with this thing is fine. We can Honored Lord hook it down if we want. I think we ultimately need to be finding ways to get this Garen into combat. But him not having the Tattered Banner makes it kind of tough. Okay, well, I think I'm fine to just throw a unit in front of the Brood Mother. Okay. Where are we at now? This exhaust onto the Brood Mother still seems good. I don't really want to play King Jarvan until next turn, so I think we can wait on that. The other kind of like option we have is like, how do we deal with this Fused Firebrand? Which makes me kind of like interested in giving Greenfang Warden the Tattered Banner. just as a way to like hook this thing over and over again. It's close. Again, we can play Jarvan on his turn. Probably reasonable enough here.
Keep the pace. Here, dog.
Okay.
I've learned a trick or two.
Sure. Alright, so we're gonna just have to wait of judgment this thing now. Again, I'm not like real happy with how deep this game's going. His deck should be a lot better at this than we are. Just missing ways to kind of get Garen leveled up and get some real threats out here. Okay. All right. I dig the old sharp sight.
To honor the fallen. My grace, I didn't expect you here. Trying times, Lord.
Flipped yet? Man, we've only survived one. Dang. Okay. So he has good attacks with his 7s. We can take a hit from one and not have it be horrible. Ooh. Well, we do get the opportunity to put some damage here. Is this I don't know how this plays out with Jarvan though. What counts as the strongest? Well, this is going to have 8 attack now, so that will be the strongest. Okay, so now we also have this opportunity to play Tattered Banner on our Greenfang Warden attack. That'll get Jarvan going. And then we can make a second attack with him if we want. Or we could do it the other way, where we play the Warden first, the Banner second, to give Jarvan Challenger. I don't think we quite need that. And how much mana is all this? We need 8 to ensure Jarvan gets a sharp sight. That would leave us with 5, so we can still just do everything.
Acts with conviction. Swiftly.
Okay.
What do you see, boy?
Be cool to give all my allies Challenger and Scout this round.
We go.
Ultimately, we need to be doing this. Right, he'll survive this combat, then we could technically, assuming all goes right here, get the Greenfang Warden to survive a combat onto Spacey Sketcher. Okay, I dig this. And then our Jarvan will flip and we'll start getting these Cataclysms every turn. Uh-oh, dude's gonna do something though. Gonna be like a concerted strike. Ugh. You're lame-o, dude. Some people just don't like to have fun, am I right? Oh, I've been preaching that forever. Some people just don't like to have fun.
He smells something.
Okay. Alright, so what else can we do in this game? We got a Captain Erika and a reinforcements. Kind of the remainder of our top end. Oh, the Empyrean. He's Gonna get hit by a sharp sight. We just need a way to give this. We need a way to give this Garen. Oh, this will be his second strike, so that's at least kind of nice, right? That's kind of nice.
I stand ready.
Got so many cards. Oh no. Oh, this guy's a lame-o. Alright, I don't think we can recover in this one. Let's see.
I ran as fast as I could.
Alright, we're just gonna let this one go. He's invoked a bunch. I didn't see what all he picked up there, but yeah, he has way too many cards for us to recover. We'll just have to let that one go. Weird. Such weird combats in there. We could have done a lot of things differently in there. But as far as this one goes, we can get rid of the Rock Bear for Penitent Squire. I'll just pick up a nice 5 of these. Not bad. Just, having all of these 1s and 2s, if the Vanguard Bannermans ever make an appearance, just so much stats you can get if you play, like similarly how we have in some of these games, if we play like 3 1-drops and an Honored Squire, or an Honored Lord with a banner, and then follow up with Bannerman, pick up just the extra 6 stats. It's huge. Okie dokie. Interesting combo. Jarvan with Shadow Isles and Targon. Let's go like Nightfall with a Nightfall with the Jarvan in it. Okay. I really wish we had one of our 6 1-drops, but there we go. Ask and you shall receive. She's should be okay to start with, right? She's not actually an elite, so not worried about losing any of this Battlesmith value.
Years take, experience gives.
Can't do anything with this, right?
The finest Demosian steel.
Weird, so weird playing this stuff. But
We must all do our duty.
she said duty. Welcome to the video. Alrighty. It's probably a little dangerous to be attacking with Battlesmith here. It's too much of an engine, right? I don't want Battlesmith trading for a Radiant Strike, so we'll get the hook onto his Honored Lord. We'll attack with Penitent Squire and play it a little safe with the Battlesmith. Also sucks if he just blocks and then hits it with an Unspeakable Horror next turn.
You won't leave a scrap.
Okay. Vanguard Bannerman doesn't care if you're an elite. Give all of our units bonus. So what do we think here? Like, I want to get the banner. The kind of ideal course of action for these plays is, getting a value attack onto his unit. So we can't play the Vanguard Sergeant this turn if that's how we want this to go. But why does he... Okay. Seems like a Radiant Strike is inevitable here, but okay.
For the prince.
Discipline! Run and steal.
I don't want to play this. Yes, the Scout 3/3 barrier is good, especially when it has Challenger, but I don't want to just be like challenging the same unit down 2 times. Right, still seems fine. Got to really challenge down this board. I don't want to, you know, if he has a Pale Cascade, it's kind of okay, but okay for him. But you know, we're getting in a big chunk of damage here. We're gonna have a really good 4 Demacia in 2 turns. This is fine. Big decision. Which invoke to take?
I am more myself than ever.
Here, dog.
Are we surprised? Absolutely not. seemed like what was bound to be happening. Still in a pretty good spot here. It's the big 10 mana play next turn, right? We can Challenger the Green Fang Warden for Demacia and then get those big scout attacks in. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff. So this turn I'll just be looking. I'm gonna Siphoning Strike actual anything. So we'll see what he adds to the board. But ultimately my plans are to just Siphoning Strike something. I don't care if it fails, and then let's have this big turn of cards next turn. Doing so much invoking. This is, you know, whenever I'm talking about like the problems you run into with these elites decks, and you know, this is it, right? Our opponent just sitting here and playing like Lunari Priestesses and all this stuff, and we're threatening a big chunk of damage next turn, but might not be lethal. And then who knows? Maybe he's able to like pull off a Supernova at some point and just clean all this stuff up. You know, can ultimately be pretty scary against decks when they can just you know stall. None of our units have overwhelm.
We must all do our duty.
Duty. But all right, I mean, this should be pretty powerful. I think this is enough to close it out. He could have some kind of like awkward obliterate or something, but this 4 Demacia will do it. I want to go ahead and do it here. Like I don't think like we lose if he has like the +3/+3 card or something, but it's ultimately like so annoying if like we attack in with Green Fang Warden and then he just saves the unit somehow. And so I want to go ahead and 4 Demacia before we get our units into combat. If he has like the obliterate after we 4 Demacia, you know, it kind of sucks, but still leaves us in a pretty good spot here. Yep. That is the downside to this play.
I've got just the thing for you. If you hurt
So he has to block everything. We'll put the little damage on our Honored Lord. He's probably going to put 3 on our Battlesmith, but it'll just revert back. Get in for 10 to take him to 7. Okay, there's still worlds where we lose this game, but at least in this spot as well now. We can play Jarvan next turn, or I guess King Jarvan, draw Jarvan, and then have him for our open attack.
the young prince will be.
My king, I have failed you.
Gather yourself, child, and speak.
You'd be flipped and stuff too, man. That's pretty cool. Okay.
They will sing of our deeds. The star.
So the thing now, we'll have 10 mana. We can technically on guard, and then just attack, and then Jarvan won't be hitting units. I mean, I guess that's just a way to, you know, push in more damage, right? We've got 6 damage on the attack here. If he, no, we're gonna have Jarvan. He's gonna be getting in for 8. But I think I still want to blast for like this big chunk of damage. So let's do this. On guard. To attack.
Stand before me.
I'm gonna do one of these, and then Jarvan can come in for 1 billion damage. Also have the sharp sight should we need it.
We fight till we're ragged, then we fight again.
So now this way, if he has like the gain 5 health card or something, we should still be lethal. Got him. Good stuff.
Demacia prevails.
Yeah, raise the banners. Okay, all right. Well, man, we don't have any. We don't have any. Sharma cards to get rid of here, but let's pick up an Honored Lord. We're going to be pretty happy to have like 5 or 6 of these. Pretty easy pickup here. Cool. Okay. All the expensive champions. We gotta end this game before that shit comes online. And here, you know, there is the argument to hang on to the Vanguard Redeemer, but I think I'd rather look for, again, more of these activators. Like, we're in this spot to where it's gonna be pretty easy for us to just like mulligan into just like these early game plays. And so again, you know, I'd rather be searching for battlesmiths, and then if we re-mulligan into other like Honored Lords and Penitent Squires, then fine. But never attacking with battlesmith. We can get this in. Totes McGoats.
Sturdy blades, custom made.
Cool. So the way we'll end up approaching this is I want to Tattered Banner our Honored Lord, and then we're just going to have our Challenger bro hanging out here. He's probably not going to want to attack because Mountain Goat is his only good one into Penitent Squire, and the next turn we can double bird. All these will be getting big. The bigs will be good onto his 1/2s. Excuse me, all seems pretty good. What do I know? Didn't expect this.
I have urgent news.
Interesting. Excuse me. Got the hiccups a little bit. Wow. So of course this ultimately sucks for him, right? He doesn't want to play units into our barrier unit here. Sure.
They say these were from the Protector himself.
Got it. The big thing here, it's like, takes 2 mana away from him. Should be very tough for him to add cards to the board at this spot. Very good Challenger bird.
Be brave. Have faith.
Okay. So we should, I haven't, next time you summon an ally. Okay, so the first unit off of reinforcements can get the banner from the Squire. So this will be good.
Who I was always meant to be.
I ran as fast as I could.
Right, we'll be at 9 mana, so we can do both reinforcements and Tattered Umbrella. So it's an umbrella now, right? It's clearly not an umbrella. This poor girl standing out here in the rain. They make her carry this fucking flag around instead of giving her an umbrella. It's brutal, brutal. Not very nice.
A little luck
Okay.
for those who need it. do our duty.
Get those down there. And see, this is ultimately my problem with the premiums and the burst spells. You saw us just throw that tattered banner out there. Our opponent didn't get to see any of that, right? It's kind of sad. They probably wanted to see the prettiness of our cards. Just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. You have to look at it like this. Can you even see it like this? You can see it shiny over here. Needs some kind of animation or something, right? Something that says we spent 100 coin on this thing. What is that, like $1? We spent $1 on this thing. All right, enjoy this attack, friend. I can say this is not ideal for you whatsoever. Can't lethal, but should be a pretty tough board for him to do anything about. And then again, we're in the same sweet spot where we can King Jarvan on our next turn, and then open with the third. He's the third. Open with J4. That's right. I played a little bit of J4 in the old. Oh shit. I've talked a lot of trash about Destiny's Call and never played it, and so I can't imagine that this is too bad unless he can't even play like a Trendemir here. But I would imagine that's like ultimately your big play, right? Okay, we can handle this.
My grace, I didn't expect you here. Trying times, Lord Ravel. Lead the way.
Also, just Captain Erika this, should that be what we wanted to do, but okay. Then we should just be beyond lethal, right? Coming in for 10, 15, 19, 21.
I've got you.
Just a little farther.
With me, Knights of Demacia. Here, dog.
I guess ultimately it needs to be like this.
Formation.
Okay, then I guess there's a world where we can maybe exhaust this 10-10 before combat next turn, right? It's very easy for him to have a win here, right? If he has like any frostbite or a harsh winds or a gain 5 health or something, this game is like far from over. But that's exacties, right? We were at -3. Yeah. Oh, another card. Yep. And so if he opens on us, then we're hosed. I wish we could like exhaust into here, but kind of is what it is. We had the opportunity to just go for the Captain Erika play, and we did not do it. So, okay. But ultimately, he could find himself in the same boat, right? If we have like a single combat or something, we can take this down. So maybe he'll try to play some units before he attacks. Nope. All right, good game.
Tend to the wounded and pray for the fallen.
Our greed did not pay off. So let's see here. We're stuck with Weight of Judgment. I still have it in my head that these, siphoning strikes are going to be pretty good here. And I think this is actually what we want to take, right? You have the one Garen, one Jarvan, one Renekton. This is where these siphoning strikes are at their strongest, when you have the 3 champions, and then I think I'm on board. Vanguard Lookouts, our 2-drop slot is pretty full at this point, right? With all of our Honored Lords and everything. Okay, those aren't any of the cards we want. Better. Not good, but better. This Karma Vi? Oh man. Playing the old the old enlightened. Okay. Okay, we have elites. I had to I knew it was highlighted in my head, so I just started to go for it, but then I had to stop and think I actually do need to make sure I have an elite for this thing. Oh, an awkward ass hand. I guess we'll get the opportunity to maybe do this Jarvan into Jarvan thing. Okay, well we've drawn all our expensive cards, that's for certain. Let's see how this goes. We don't have like anything to do, and so I don't really want to bank all this mana. Having like 2 champions in our hand, if this is successful, then that's great. Yeah, I'm on board with this. So hopefully we'll find something to do here, but that's like so much stats that we just send into our deck.
Keep moving.
What would you wish to learn?
Then ultimately, like the super awkward thing here is, sure, we want to, you know, be attacking with Jarvan, so this is really like a turn 8 play, right? We can play him after the fact, but giving our units scout after the fact doesn't get them on the board, or get them an additional attack. It doesn't rally.
What you looking for?
We must all do our duty.
Duty. I have to assume this just shuts down his attacks though, right? There's no way he's attacking tapped out. Yep.
Break their ranks!
Prince Jarvan, thank goodness you're all right.
Steady yourself, Squire. There is fighting to do.
That seems fantastic for us.
With me!
Too bad we can't like Cataclysm this. Just this embarrassment of riches we have, and it's like, man, I just want to make so many cool plays. Okay.
Ah, you have my banner.
My prince, how did you escape?
So next turn, we're going to be up to 8, right? Two blanks. So if we want to, I can't imagine we ever need to do all this, but I do want to Jarvan, Cataclysm, and Tattered Banner. So let's just go ahead and get the bank to 3 mana. I want a Tattered Banner
For the prince,
for the Prince.
my king, I have failed you.
Gather yourself, child, and speak.
When I challenge an enemy, give me barrier this round. On the flip, okay. So it would have to be on our second attack with him.
Water changes but never breaks.
Stand before me. The wicked must fall. Providence, guide me.
Okay.
To the next life.
My men,
Ours is soldiers of Demacia. Stand with me.
Cool, right? We're doing the cool stuff. Doing the Jarvan-y things. That's what you do with Jarvan, right?
A gift from the river folk. Waters are still.
Alright, alright. I think this will get us there. I'm gonna go ahead and Cataclysm this Wild Claw.
Master said will be pleased.
Oh. Well, I guess we can do it this way.
Just as you were taught.
Yeah, dude, get him.
Order.
Throw that spear out there and stuff. Okay. This should do it, right? That's pretty fucking cool. I don't know how y'all feel about that. We got all the things going on.
We feast tonight.
Okay, so You know, I'm interested in the Jarvan pack, but man, this is just too good with the Garen. You know, Inspired Martial Siphoning Strike. I guess we're really just like picking up one extra card that we don't want, but a Battlesmith plus Bannerman's just too good here. So welcome to the party, Garen. Okay, okay. Yeah, well, I usually don't like drafting multiple Garens, but I knew that the Bannermen were going to show up eventually, and our deck is just like so well centered to take advantage of these Bannermen. And you know, we got to make the King Jarvan play. I feel like, you know, more frequently you're just going to be playing the King to draw Jarvan and then getting that open the next turn. So happy enough to go and pick that up. This seems reasonable, right? Does run into these like awkward turns to where we can't actually play our Tattered Banner, but I think this is a strong enough start to not risk like not having the proper plays. Perfect. We just drew the Honored Lord.
Reach the king. Moving.
Sin Ezreal. Good chance this Battlesmith just gets killed by a Mystic Shot, but not the end of the world if that happens.
I'm on it.
It's dangerous out there. Take this.
Have to just play it here though, right? There's worlds where he just doesn't attack. Probably doesn't want to trade with the Squire. Okay.
For the prince.
Years take, experience gives.
Let's get our stats on board. Okay.
Just a look.
Here, you won't leave a scratch.
I don't think there's a lot of interesting cards you could really be picking up in that spot, so.
I taste purple.
I taste purple.
Step lightly.
Got all the lifesteal now. So we probably need to Siphoning Strike this Fey Folk. It could be kind of scary though if he has a barrier. I think we just have to accept that we're in for the long game here.
Ruffian soldier is worth 10 foes.
Let's just get our stats going. Add this thing. I'm going to add Squire. We can banner Renekton next turn. Oh, he's just... Okay, so he's going to gain 8, but lose...
Advantage is mine.
Okay.
They appeared out of nowhere.
I was expecting that to go worse.
We must all do our duty.
Duty. I can't get over it. It's not my fault. I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old, but
I mustn't stop.
it's what it is.
No retreat.
We should have done this the other way. This Renekton should be way down on the left. Since he was at 20, he would have just not gained any health. I was too busy thinking of duty jokes to to get past that. But all right, we'll clean it up, I guess.
The dragon speaks through me. Then let it roll.
So he's tapped out, but we don't have any good Siphoning Strike plays yet. Are we ever going to have good Siphoning Strike plays? I'm pretty on board with just adding the Redeemer as a 4/4, and then just trying to kill with 4 Demacia next turn. We could 4 Demacia Cataclysm if we want. Don't think we'll need to, but yeah. Jarvan makes an appearance. Let's just take our stats. Uh-oh. Dude's got a bunch of cards. Cuss Palm Mystic Shot.
Beaten down.
So what does this look like? So if we start with Cataclysm, then we can get a rehook, right? So let's... How does this work with a stunned unit? I've never tried this before. Can we We get the opportunity to cancel this, right? It just doesn't do anything. Okay, because our unit has 3 health. Okay, okay. I wanted to make sure we see if we get the overwhelm. I was pretty sure it didn't get to attack because it counts as a stun. You know, he's stunned and not attacking, but... Ow.
I mustn't stop.
Keep the pace. If you hurt him,
Alright, that should do it.
I will not hold back.
Good game, friend.
crack their bones, then we feast.
Feast on them bones, Renekton. Nice. So let's see. Oh man, I hate passing on exhausts, but we got to pick up these bannermen. They're too good, too good. We have 5 penitent squires, right? So we're getting the hooks when we want them. You can see these games, man. It's very easy for us to go wide when we have this gigantic pile of 1 and 2 drops. Bannerman is ultra good in these spots. Oh man, dude lost his Dota account. Had to switch to the old league. But I think we get rid of it, right? We don't have any actual ones in our hand. We'd love to find a penitent squire here. Nice. So we still have this curve to where we can Battlesmith on 2 and then Banner Honored Lord on 3. Very, very strong. Much strength.
It's dangerous out there. Take this.
He didn't try to slow roll the 5-1, so this should be huge.
For the prince.
I have been sent by the king himself.
It's gonna take the 8 hit. We still have the hook later. This is where you want to be playing just like a 1-1 or something, but I have to assume he doesn't have it if he hasn't played it to this point.
Just a little
Okay.
farther. When will I find peace?
Carrick Ribbon Hook. Blades and buffs, huh?
Where once there was a
Alright, so I mean, unfortunately here, we can't do anything with reinforcements, so we just have to challenge down one of these. I think we ought to be trying to take down the Tarek. At least, well, Interesting, because the problem we run into is if we hook down Tarek and then he has a combat trick, we run into some problems. So maybe we just do go after the Ribbon and go for Tarek on his next turn. But the tricks that get him out of this are fairly lacking. He could have a Sharpened Resolve, sure. He could have a Pale Cascade. He could have a Targon Shield, but these are the big Tarek spells in these Tarek decks are all of the Reforges, sure, and then the slipping my mind. The Reforges, the +3/+3, and then the Zenith Blades, none of which he could play in that spot. This is fine. So see, that's why we chose this. So now when he attacks with Tarek, he gets the tough, but he doesn't get the spell to play anywhere. This is ultimately frightening, seeing him attack with Tarek into this board. I think we just have to go for it. What? Overwhelm? Really? I guess he does give tough, though, and that makes his units protected.
Sharpen my blade for you.
Okay.
finally peace.
War leaves no room for affections.
Not even for an old friend?
Not even for an old friend, Tarek.
For the hand!
Cool.
Break their ranks!
You just know this attack is safe now. Okay,
To protect all,
this is fine. Let's just block one.
unyielding.
Jesus.
To preserve beauty and
Much-
protect all
My
life.
stats just happened. Could technically just take it, but
Make way!
I think the one block is safe. We're gonna reinforcements next turn.
My message
So we want to Penitent Squire,
appeared out of nowhere.
want to banner an Honored Lord,
Do our duty.
bank 3, then next turn we'll reinforce. Whoop, whoop. Good. I like how we played that one. That was nice. But he stumbled pretty hard there at the beginning, right? He didn't have a play for quite a while when we curved out on him. So, we're just going to get rid of all of our exhausts? Kind of more interested in getting rid of Weight of Judgment, but don't think we really need Vanguard First Blades. 4 Battlesmiths is kind of a lot. You know, the first one, fantastic. The second one, not that great. And we do have 8 of these early game plays that just do not play well with the Elites theme. Well, they're keyed on the Elites theme, right? But they don't get the bonuses from Battlesmiths, reinforcements, and so I think I'm still okay to get rid of one of these. What do our 4s look like here? I was worried about our 4s because we typically come in and draft a bunch of Renektons, but we're in the spot now where we're just looking to pick up Bannermans. It's a 4 for a 4 here, but it's typically one of the weaker ones. But I mean, can't come down as a 5/5 with a banner. I think we want to just pick this one up. 3 feels like a good number of Battlesmiths. All right, let's get there. Let's get there. Things are moving. Lots of cool stuff happening in this one. I dig it. If this is your first video with FTP Bust, you know, you haven't got a chance to know that I really love a 1-drop, but you know, this deck just kind of checks all the boxes as far as that's concerned. But let's see how this plays out. We at least got the good part of the curve here. Captain Erika perhaps won't even be played this game, but if we were still able to win that game where we went like, you know, nothing on like where we had like I can't remember the exact line, but we had like a 1 and a 2, and then we just, you know, had to like NASA strike on turn 4 or something.
I mustn't
Okay,
stop.
this feels like it's probably going to just turn into a reinforcements kind of game. We won't be able to play it until our turn 5, but
Experience gives.
what he's doing, it's weird seeing all of these random ass cards. 2 Garens for elites, but Aurelion Soul and Aphelios. Quite sure what Brother's trying to do here.
I've been sent by the king himself.
We just want to run him out. I dig it. Well, I dig it. I dig it less. I think when we have when we have access to this reinforcements, we probably can't just be that super greedy and try to trade these off. We need to keep our units on board to get our stats on board. So let's hang on to these for a moment. We don't get a super value out of playing reinforcements next turn, so I'm okay with waiting until turn 6, right? If we want to play double Honored Lord now, Swiftling Lancer next turn, and then reinforcements on our follow-up turn, I think that's strong enough. Could even just like drop a Siphoning Strike next turn if we need to, but I think we'll just pummel him with stats. Assuming he took the 3 damage one.
Years take, experience gives.
Okay. Interesting seeing this come down now. It's kind of a, it's not no value because it did damage to us, but you know, he didn't gain any health off of it when it feels like he's never the aggro, right? He's playing Aurelion Soul. I can't imagine this Aurelion Soul deck thinks it's the aggro. So he does get a value attack here, which is kind of shitty, but we're looking pretty good otherwise. Okay. Garen doesn't change anything. I mean, we could on guard with the addition of Garen, right? I think we just want to get the damage in. It's so tough for him to play like units that interact favorably with what we're doing. Like he could play his own Garen and that would be awkward, right? Him adding a 5/5, but we could technically try to, you know, bring down his 5/5. But otherwise, he's really just playing like 3/3s and 4/4s and stuff, and that all interacts so badly with what we're doing. I think I'd be willing to risk him having like a, sure, I was gonna say him like having a Garen plus barrier or something. That's not that intimidating.
For Befell.
Okay. So much stats over him. Okay. It's not a unit, so.
Take my element.
The fangs. This thing has lifesteal, right? It's epic. We don't see this thing too often out here. Is there a button? Yeah. Lifesteal. So I mean, like, what do we think his attack looks like, right? Is he gonna hook a interesting? Like, I don't think we can add a unit here. If the turn passes, I'm okay with it. But I think, you know, what like he was thinking on that real hard. Like all the cards that he wanted didn't show up. Okay. Do we just want a Bannerman here? We can. I think so. We can first blade Bannerman and on guard and really just like try to pick apart his board. I think this is very powerful.
For the glory of Demacia.
Welcome to a bust video. Welcome to the bust video. It's only appropriate, right? How many are we down to now? 1. Renekton's 2. Siphoning Strike is 3, 4. But we have 1 Siphoning Strike in our hand. That's about right as far as as far as these go. Okay, doing this. This is the easy one. This is an easy one. Well, maybe not so much. Perhaps rather it be like this. Be like this. Like this, and then actually keep the first blade back. We have 3 units to his 0, assuming he doesn't have a trick or anything. And then if he has a back-to-back or whatever, then he has it. Very good. Very good. Much success. Pick up a second Bannerman. Nice. Okay. Alright, this has to be good, right? We can get out in front of an Aurelion Soul as well. Not anymore, but almost got out in front of Aurelion Soul. Alright, we can take him down now. Bring it. Just run it out. Run out that Aurelion Soul. That's why he played Herald of Dragons. But again, this is the spot you'll run into with these decks, right? Aurelion Soul is legitimately scary. He, you know, picked up another unit with Egghead Researcher, ultimately kind of scary. You know, he can stall out these games for so long and get so much value out of Aurelion Soul when we're just trying to, you know, send a ton of stats into his little units on board.
I created.
cannot recover all that is lost, but I will try.
It'd be good. I'm gonna play both. Planning on playing both Garen and Bannerman next turn. We can lead with Garen and then decide if we want a Siphoning Strike after the fact, but what's the idea here? Oh, making moves, huh?
Flyer standard with pride.
So we have to worry about if he, like, if he plays like the 6 mana thing and Obliterate on him. I think we're still fine, right? That's very expensive and he's not adding to the board. So let's add Garen, then we can decide if we want a Bannerman or Siphoning Strike. Okay, Bannerman.
Your favorite star. I created it. He's magnificent.
Raise the banner. Lift our spirits. We stand strong.
So how bad is this now? Right, he's one wider than us. Oh, we should have played the Squire, shouldn't we have? Is that going to be what gets us here? We would have had 3, 6. It would have been a little still short. All right.
I must reach the king.
So let's say we go in with everything. We lost the damage here, sure. He's going to put Aurelion Soul in front of Garen. Captain Erika, say, blocks one of these 5s. This becomes a 7, gets blocked by Herald of Dragons. The Researcher comes here. So at the end of the day, we have 4 units to his 2, and his are fairly weak. I don't think we ever win this game without doing this.
Wait, save my skill.
It's brutal that we can't get a Siphoning Strike off on this stuff, but
I will not be beaten.
down here and here, take 5. Then we still have our 4 units. Have the opportunity to get a little bit wider. Oh, he keeps his blocker.
Over.
Okay.
As foretold.
Demacia
Gets him to 3, so it'll be as long as he can't, fill out the board, we'll be fine. We have a removal spell that can hopefully help to that end. We're gonna get super punished by not playing this first, weren't we?
Audience.
Gonna get punished. So brutal seeing him sitting here at 3 when we just didn't play the Squire first. That was sloppy. Why don't you play a 10 mana, 5 health unit, preferably 4 health unit, without spell shield? Okay. Did you do that? Okay. Ultimately kind of scary. We can get that 1 point away from getting around this. But I mean, at least at this stage, Jarvan will take down Aurelion Soul. Captain Erika probably has to block.
For what they did to me.
I guess, it is what it is at this point. At least the thing with this other Researcher is he can play it, but then he can't play any more dragons, right? This dude's ephemeral, so he's going to die. The cheapest dragon costs 4. So he's not really doing anything at this point. Can, play another real card, but
Side by side, into battle.
1 damage short, right? What a punish. What a punish. And we have to open, right? We can't have him playing like Supernovas for free. So
I do love an audience.
We must all do our duty. mustn't
Brutal,
stop.
right? He should be at 2. He'll be coming in for another 3. No, he should be at 3, right? Things would have been a little bit different, but this is such a savage place to miss out on that little bit of damage.
For your king!
But seems powerful. We can kind of recover out of this. Rika has to block, right? Then we're gonna get Garen back.
Met with steel!
Okay. So close.
Lost, but I will try.
This dude's big. Probably need to. Do we need to just go ahead and cataclysm something? I mean, we're going to start getting one every turn. Try to go ahead and just get this thing off the board. I guess we could have technically like waited to see if we specifically draw Renekton next turn, but I don't want to be facing this big open.
No quarter!
Oh no. Oh no.
You are safe in our hands.
Ugh. Nice. Not expect that. It got us good. Oh man.
With a little time, I'll have a breakthrough.
Let's see what he does. I have to assume he's going to play another unit here since we're still at lethal. So we won't play the Squire until after he plays another unit. Get him with Challenger birds, right? Double bird him. Like, what if he just drew, like, Cadrigen?
Somebody help!
Oh no, we have to block here. Well, we can put Captain Erika in front of this Firebrand. And that achieves the same thing. This is only 12.
In the name of the just.
Okay.
Our land.
All right. Let's see if we got out of that mess. We're gonna get hit with like unspeakable horror or something here.
Moving.
Nice. Ultimately didn't get punished for that. Nice. Okay. Let's get ready for that final battle. So, I don't want more Captain Erikas. We can skip that one. Right at Dominance. This is the card I always talk about, trying to put together these like Nasus fearsome decks, but I don't think we want to make any of these. I'd rather have Wardens than First Blades. Erika's too expensive to have multiple copies of, and don't want to trade out Cythria. So we can let that one go. Same deal with this one. Picking up Vanguard Sergeant's very good, though. The guy's ultimately incredibly powerful. I don't think we want a second Jarvan. So with this, I mean, we're pretty safe as far as allegiances go. We'll probably miss again at some point, but I think I'm actually cool with hanging on to like this one exhaust. What do we have? One exhaust, one Renekton, 2 siphoning strikes. That's fine. Just have another way to kind of interact and force some combats without it being the Squire himself. So I think we can skip over this one. Gallant Riders wouldn't be something I'm upset to pick up, but just not right here. Okay, we can skip all of these. None of these trades are particularly interesting. And the last one. Oh, a Golden Aegis. I think that seems pretty good here. This solves a lot of our late game problems, right? Where like that previous game where he's just putting down like the 1/3 and then playing like a priestess or something and just having a bunch of blockers every turn. Getting that rally attack is what helps you really get through those. All right, final battle. Oof. Good stuff. This came together pretty cool, right? I think so. And I'm always right, so. Good stuff. see. Let's see if we get to battle against that poor bot. Some people, when they're in their open plays, get paired against someone and concede, so that they don't risk taking away their 7 winner. Not us, not today. We're gonna cancel if if we get up over a minute. Guy here just crush some dreams, you know. Maybe. All right. Try that again. Come on, somebody queue up. Might fall asleep. Getting so close. Look at this, man, Aphelios. Look at that. So many wins. He has a higher win rate than Kindred. I find that hard to believe. But then you see Lulu with a 58% win rate, and you know something's not right. Still, it weirds me out. I can't, quite figure out why the win rate is higher than it is. This is a zero-sum game. There's one winner, one loser every game. So it seems like at the end of the day, everything should even out to 50%. Somebody told me I was wrong about this before. I don't think I'm wrong, but I followed up and they didn't respond, and so that means I was probably right. But there's like you watch these win rates over here on the right, and none of these champions ever drop below 50%. And I could see like to a degree that yes, it can get weird because you're playing, like multiples of champions, and so not quite sure how that works out. And then also, I think the people that are willing to go out of their way to go and get LOR Guardian are just better than your random average Joe. And so, it's kind of this thing as to where assume that we're, platinum ranked players, but we only play against like platinum plus players like 70% of the time, but the other 30% of the time we play people worse than us, and so we're able to keep a positive win rate. That's my kind of thought that might be the other thing flipping it, and that is this get 2 Ashes with Teemo Trundle? I assume that this is just doing like no Piltover, and it's going to be an Ash Allegiance deck. But let's hang on to the Honored Lord and go from there. Not a great start. Should have just risked it with the Poro bot, right? All right, things are turning around. I think I do want to continue to play on curve here. We can just exhaust this thing if we want to. Which we're probably gonna have to do because we need to play some units here. But let's get the Squire. Let's get Cytheria going. He's kind of disincentivized to play units into our Honored Lord, and so maybe he just passes a little bit. Don't want to give Cytheria the banner. Also, I don't want to just run into this clump of wumps when we're about to Vanguard Bannerman, and so we'll let that just go for a turn.
I've learned a trick or two.
I've learned a trick or two. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Brittle Steel come out. Troll Chant, same thing.
You won't leave a scratch.
Okay.
Now we go.
I'm willing to go for it now. We'll still stop this one because we're gonna get the Bannerman going, but get excited. Interesting choice. Okay.
Bring him home.
For the prince!
Raise the banner. Lift our spirits.
Could have arguably waited a turn to try to get this Garen going, but I don't want to run this out yet. I'm actually intending on playing Swiftwing Lancer next turn and then getting good hooks across the board. Should be tough for him to interact with this favorably.
Show them our mettle.
So I mean, beautiful. I was gonna say if he has like a Fury of the North or something, that's pretty whatever at this stage. This is looking good now, right?
I will unite the
Okay.
Freljord.
Beam, sure. All right. All seems reasonable. He hasn't played any Frostbites yet, so that's kind of unfortunate for Dude. And we're about to slam a bunch of stats on him. This is pretty good.
My heart and sword for
Passes.
nothing.
Interesting. Okay. And then, well enough here with this Jarvan, we're going to have Sharp Sight mana.
Prince Jarvan! Thank goodness you're all right!
Steady yourself, Squire. There is fighting to do.
Nice.
No quarter!
Alright, this has to be pretty close to done. Can't, that's so weird. He just had like actual nothing to do on the previous turn.
Listen to the sounds of the wilds.
Okay. Gonna go Enlightened.
My body is no longer my own.
The Siphoning Strike's unfortunately not like ultra exciting here, but it's doing 2 to everything. Okay. Let's just get wider than him. We're just gonna reinforce. Reinforce. I'm kind of scared of trying to play like Double Bird next turn, but we should be in a pretty good spot to just open on him. This Feral Mystic attack is bad now. Okay.
Stay resolute.
All right, we'll do the old classic, the classic little to big here. He's going to have to block these units over on the left and keep our big boys down here well protected. Yeah, unfortunate for this dude. Seemed like he had a pretty awkward draw there right at the end, but we did have a pretty powerful set of challenges and everything. So good, good. Nice little 7 winner.
Fine work, soldier.
No complaints from me. Really happy with how that turned out. I think it turned out the way I really like how these Jarvan decks to show up. So yeah, let's get this pulled up real quick. So yeah, I mean, as we said, you know, in the draft part, the big changes that we saw here with the addition of Jarvan's pool and the way that it, you know, we used to kind of classically draft elites is that, you know, the addition of both Penitent Squire and the 1, Honored Lord and the 2, and then having a second pack of having Battlesmiths and Reinforcements. And so Reinforcements way down here somewhere, way down at the end. And so, yeah, ultimately, you know, that's the big thing. You could see how we really crafted our deck. This deck came together extremely well as to where, you know, you really have to focus on your early game plays because it's extremely easy to just end up with this deck completely full of, you know, you've got, like, say down here we've got, you know, 2 Bannermen, say we have 2 Vanguards, and then 2 of the, you know, the guy that flips into heavy infantry, and then we have like 2 Garens and a Jarvan, and maybe, you know, an Erika and a Jarvan, and then maybe we picked up a Jin Vivi, and then we got like a random heavy infantry or something. It's just very easy to have these completely unmanageable curves to where you end up in this spot to where, you know, it's turn 6. And you can only play 1 card, and then it goes to turn 7, and you can only play 1 card, and you have like 6 cards in your hand, and you really just need to get stuff flooded onto the board. And so the Squire and the Honored Lord really help alleviate that. We'll have to kind of see how this plays out next week. Once I think that, you know, the showing bonus only applies to the champion packs and not throughout the draft, and so it wasn't like we were just seeing a incredibly high number of Challenger Jarvan packs. I think that's different. I think we managed that draft well, in the sense that you know, we were trying to get every single choice, like at least, you know, reliably every single synergy pack to have both Demacian Steel and Challenger in it, and so that, you know, we have the more opportunities to hit these big builder rounds. So, you know, if you're drafting this on your own, again, the big things you're looking for are the Penitent Squire and the Honored Lord. You're also going to go out of your way to find the engine cards in Battlesmith, Vanguard Bannerman, and Reinforcements, and then just do everything that you can to keep your curve really low. You have to, you know, we did quite a bit of, you know, passing on Swiftwing Lancers. Passed on some of those 4-drops. We called out pretty quickly when it came to drafting Silverwing Vanguards right here at pick 1. You just can't let your curve get too high. That thing where you're in turn 6 and 7 and playing 1 card, it's just way too slow. You have to get your stats on the board, and then getting these stats on the board, even if, you know, it's just like 2 1-drops, a 2 and a 2. Then when we get into turn 4, you know, just having 2 or 3 other units for the Bannerman to give bonuses to, pretty big. So. Yeah, it's a little different from the kind of elites of old, since we're focused so much on Honored Lord now. If you do find yourself pushing away from the elites and finding yourself more into just kind of like the challenger theme, to where maybe you wanted to draft 3 Renektons, and you're just kind of taking advantage of Honored Lords and not playing towards the elites theme. A big thing to at least say there is to make sure your units can survive combat. It's pretty easy for Honored Lord to do it, but again, you can't find yourself where you're just playing like rock hoppers and trading them, or you play rock hopper and then just don't have any way to positively interact with your opponent's units and have your units survive. As you can see through like a lot of all these games we easily won, we just kind of like snowballed the board, and that was a function of our units getting the challenges and then just not dying. And so that's ultimately the strategy that you're looking to pull off here. But nonetheless, yeah, pretty good run. Pretty good run. We got to do the King Jarvan the third both ways. We had good uses out of Siphoning Strike and the 3 champions. Great set of elites. The Honored Lords and Penitent Squires all showed up in good numbers. Pretty good trial. Pretty happy with how this one played out. So I think that is it for today. Let me click on the rewards real quick. Looks like there might be something. Ooh, it's a prismatic rewards. What do we get out of this? Iceborne Legacy. I miss this so much. For you all that aren't like haven't been around for a long time, this used to be an ancient evil Tryndamere, and there was a hot minute to where that was paired up with Elise, and you could play with Iceborne Legacy to put on the Elise spiders, the spiderlings, right? So all the spiderlings just get +2/+2 for the rest of the game. It's a pretty cool deck. It was actually decent constructed for a while as well, but Constructed's different now, and they took it out of Ancient Evil. I don't think this card isn't even in Expedition. It might be in Fluffed and Tough Braum, but I don't think it does. But nonetheless, when it comes to these, I mean, Feral Mystic is quite the turd, but we do like to just go ahead and play the units. As we complained about with our Tattered Umbrellas, that you play it and your opponent doesn't even get to see it, and it's kind of a sad moment. But that's going to do it for us today. I hope you learned how to make your deck elite just a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.